His first basket of this new era was much like many others in terms of impact and its ferocity and jaw-dropping nature. LeBron James stole the Trail Blazers' cross-court pass, and before him was the open court and thousands of open mouths, all bracing in anticipation of a moment. His fast break dunk was just as you expected it would be, jammed through the basket with a cocked arm, and followed by a brief pose at landing, for emphasis and style. The greatest player in the game was back in full soar Thursday, but, as it were, his new team remained stuck to the floor. Overall, this process is gonna take some time, you think? Before the Los Angeles Lakers whipped the basketball world into a frenzy, they must whip Portland. And also the Houston Rockets, who visit Staples Center on Saturday, Sunday, PHL time, for the Lakers' home opener. And the Golden State Warriors. And Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans. And any team in the Western Conference that considers itself a contender. But you knew this, right? We'll have to go through some moments, LeBron said after the Lakers lost at Moda Center, 128-119. We'll have some adversity. True, this isn't an overnight sensation in the making. Not as fast as you, media, guys think it's going to happen, LeBron said. The Lakers will get more chances to make a first impression. And that's a good thing for them as they navigate through a potentially tricky transition period with their shiny new showpiece. There is only one thing that's a lock through this bumpy path. LeBron is still the force he was in Cleveland and Miami, his only other NBA stops. Months before turning 34, his flow and his basketball instincts remain steak knife sharp and his pride is intact. He tipped off his season by playing 37 minutes, so much for reduced minutes here after 15 years of deep tread wear on his wheels, and delivered 26 points, 12 rebounds and 6 assists. I mean, that's crazy, a guy to be in his 16th year playing at that pace and above the rim the way he was, said Blazers guard Damian Lillard. He looked like himself. That said, he and his teammates are still working on their wavelength. This was evident for much of the night, when connections were missed and confusion reigned at times. On Thursday, Friday, PHL time, LeBron threw a behind-the-back pass that in Cleveland or Miami would usually hit, is marked to teammates aware of his tendencies and timing. Last night, LeBron tried it and the ball dribbled out of bounds, all of which flummoxed LeBron and Kyle Kuzma, the nearest Laker. After the whistle blew and possession went to Portland, LeBron and Kuzma had a brief chat. "I expected Kuz to pop," explained LeBron, and he rolled. Then another time, Rajon Rondo went to the hole. JaVale McGee thought it was going to him, and it was meant for me. We'll get better at that. These first few weeks, if the Lakers are fortunate, will be conducted in a vacuum and a laboratory. Transitions are usually like that. LeBron had a similar one in Miami 8 years ago, when a 9-8 start playing alongside Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh had folks thinking the sky was falling. With these Lakers, the reaction will or should, anyway, be more muted, if only because the expectations aren't through the ceiling this season. The Lakers are trying to nourish the limited basketball experience of Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram, with LeBron and Rajon Rondo taking on more of a mentor role. That means class will be in session most, if not all, season. LeBron is preaching patience, not only for those in and outside of the organization, but for himself as well. Sometimes, it's easier said than done. LeBron realizes that he's on the clock personally, even though his stamina and level of play remain high. "A lot of these guys don't have as much experience, so I have to understand that," James said. "And I do. LeBron seems cursed by celebrated season openers, falling to 0 for all time in his debut games. He scored 25 points in his rookie opener, but Cleveland lost to the Sacramento Kings. He had 31 in his Miami opener in a loss to the Boston Celtics. And he had 17 points in his Cleveland return in 2014, a home loss to the New York Knicks. The Lakers' crime Thursday, Friday, PHL time, was a failure to tighten up defensively, and of course the mistakes that could be blamed on a getting-to-know-you game. And then there's another issue that LeBron will soon discover, if he hasn't already. He's not in the easy East anymore. There's a tough game every night, Lillard said. The West had 10 teams with winning records last season fighting for 8 playoff spots. Coaches and players in the West were fond of tweaking their neighbors across the Mississippi in 2017-18, saying the non-playoff teams in the West should take some East spots. Of last season's playoff teams, none return seriously weaker, unless you're ready to bury the San Antonio Spurs, who have a 21-year playoff streak going, or Minnesota Timberwolves, who are coping with the Jimmy Butler crisis. The Blazers were the number 3 seed and were swept in the first round by the Pelicans, which puts the depth and overall strength of the West in perspective. Only 3 games separated the Blazers and the 9th-seeded Nuggets during the regular season. Meanwhile, the Rockets and Warriors were beyond the reach of mortals. LeBron jumped the East 8 straight times to reach the NBA Finals. Yet by most indications, he's an A-list teammate away from spooking the Warriors, and that teammate isn't in a Lakers uniform this season. This journey through the West could either humble LeBron or, at the least, make him realize the work needed for the Lakers to regain contender status. Heck, the Lakers couldn't even prevent Nick Stauskas from having the biggest night of his NBA life. He scored 24 points and made more three-pointers, 5, than the Lakers' starting lineup, 2. It was telling that Lakers coach Luke Walton started Rondo over Ball at point guard, an understandable move after Ball missed several months recovering from knee issues. Rondo was mainly stellar, 11 assists, 3 steals, while the Lakers' fourth-quarter lineups excluded Ball. Meanwhile, Hart, 20 points off the bench, earned crunch time minutes. Everyone had different roles last year, Walton said, and some of those roles could change. Well, someone's role will remain the same. Regarding that guy, Walton said, glad he's on our team. He's pretty good at the game of basketball,